All right. I hear myself humming, so that must be live.
Yep.
All right. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you had a good weekend. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Just going through here, see who's all on. We got all right. Here is what is going on right now. This is Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart. I know it might look a little confusing, so what I'm going to do here is get rid of some of these drawings. All right, so this line right here, guys, down here was the bear market bottom of last year, and this was the rising upward trend of the bull markets going all the way back. And right here. And we've been in this upward trending channel pretty much this whole time. Let me just make sure I got to listen in the right spot. This right here is the CME gap at the 91 to 93 range. I have that on the chart here. You're not going to see the gap here because this is Phemex, but I just put that there to let me know where it is in the grand scheme of things. We're not coming down to it at the moment. We had this big long dump. This was on the 10th of October when we had that big dump down, and we wicked all the way down to this level, pumped up, and we came down and double bottom one more time. It just so happens to be upward trending, and it just so happens to be on this blue line. I'm gonna change that to yellow so you can see exactly which one I'm talking about here. That's that yellow line, and that goes all the way back to here at when we were down here at 48K. And there's upward trending support here, here, and here. We wicked down and then we held support. We did wick down again, but we did not close above this on the daily. So we stayed above the 107, and now we're back above the 112, which was this major level. So in my opinion, we are possibly coming back up to retest new all-time highs. The trades that I've given over the last week or so, still in them. This was my current open positions yesterday. All of them were in profit at $459. Now we're up over 1,000 on these same trades. Basically, I'm in XRP and Bitcoin is all it is. This is just a Bitcoin margin and a coin margin. I mean, a coin margin and a USDT margin. But now, on the daily, if I look at this as a, I'm going to put this line up here because the 123 is the real number we need to get above. There's a reason. 123, I'm just going to put it there. That's where we first hit. This is where we wicked up above it to 124.5, came back below, but both candles held under 123. And then here we come all the way down, we bounce, we come back up, and here we hit the 123. Then we wicked up above it to 125, and then one more wick up to 126.2. None of these candles held above the 123. We dropped below it, retested the 123 right there, and then dropped. So this is the magic number, 123. I got this right at 123.4, maybe 123. 3, something like that. It's just basically on the daily chart, it's just right at the very top of this first wick. Then we have this, which is a downward trending, very interesting downward trending support level where we had a bottom, lower, low, and then a wick all the way down to it right here. And then this one was higher. So that usually is an indication that this is over. We did have a double bottom or a wick down very close to it, but it did not get as low as this one, making this a possible double bottom. We're climbing out, big W pattern, coming up to the top of that, probably a pump back up to this area. If I were to guess, we just take a line from here down to here. Yeah. Kind of funny how that works. So if, in my opinion, we'll probably come up to retest the 123. We're at 115.1 right now. And here's another interesting thing. Let me go to the, I'll do it on another chart. Let's go to trading view and let me put on the RSI, stochastic.
What was the price at the top that you said, like 23 something, or what was that?
Like 123.3. This is trading view, but this is basically the same total long upward trending support that we were just talking about. It looks a little different on the weekly here, but that line I was talking about was right here, right there, 123.3. That's the apex that we're currently in. But here's interesting down here. This is the stochastic RSI on the weekly. We did have that big dump down when we dropped down, and we can see here that the blue line is facing up now and getting ready to cross the orange line back to the upside above this dotted line at the 20. So this grayed out area is the 20, between the 20 and the 80 on the RSI. Whenever we're below it, we're oversold. Whenever we're above it, we're overbought. And we got below it again here with this big dump down. And now we're coming back up. And as you can see, the blue line is about to cross the orange line to the upside. Now, this is the weekly time frame, and we do have 6 days and 8 hours left because today is Monday. But this is promising right here. And we do have a lot of green happening after touching this line. See what happens every time we touch this line, going all the way back. And actually, if I bring this to where I really think it is, which is right there, because we bounced above it, came below it, resistance went above it and touched it here. Here we hit it, went below it and touched it underneath a bunch of times before getting back above it, and then wicking down to it here, here, and here. Each time we did touch it, this was the time that's very similar to where we're at right now, because we wicked down and then almost double bottom. We pumped out to new all-time high. And if you look, if I draw a line, you'll see that these were all giant bull flags prior. And generally speaking, when we did have that big wick down, it was to the previous resistance. Big wick down. This was a falling wedge, very bullish, just like a bull flag. But when we had that big wick down right here, boom, it was right to previous resistance. This one, we came down to previous resistance as well. Which was at the 104, 103.5 right here. We had some wicks up higher than that, and we held the support here, but we did retest it. And we are in this channel coming back up to the top. So, you know, if history repeats itself, I will say that we possibly have a potential breakout up here in to that area that we've been talking about, guys. That, I mean, will it pump that far, that fast, that hard, all in one candle? No, I am on the weekly time frame. This pump here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to get up. This one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to get up to the top here. It might not even be that. Let's just go back here. It could just be something like this. But even so, that would bring us up into the 150 range for Bitcoin, depending on where that breaks out. And it could take a few weeks, but like we say, like we've been saying, is that there's 2.5 months, not even, let's just go look on the monthly. We got 2 months and 5 days left of this year. And that means 2 months and 5 days left of a typical bull market cycle. Now, this time could be different. It may not be typical. It could be a super cycle. We could see things that we've never seen before. There are a lot of circumstances and a lot of catalysts that would call for that. But I never like to just say, yes, definitely this time is going to be different, because that's like, I always give that analogy of your friend picking you up at 6 p.m. If he's been doing that every week for a year, for years and years and years, and he's always been on time, there would be no reason for you to say that this time is going to be different. He's not going to show up this time. And so when I make decisions, I base it on what's always been happening. And so no matter what people say, no matter whether this time is different or not, history has shown, charts have shown time and time again that the bull market is usually 3 years up and 1 year down. It's a 4-year cycle. It has been since the beginning. Now, the problem is that this is only the 4th bull market in Bitcoin's history. And so far, 3 out of 4 so far have had bull and bear market cycles. So we can just assume, I'm going to personally assume that this one's going to follow suit and do the same. But that doesn't mean it will. And it is possible that this time is different. And it is possible that something different happens this time, for sure. Possible. But that's like saying, this time I know my friend's not going to show up at 6. I don't know why. There's a lot of weird things going on in the world. So I think this time is going to be different. I'm not going to do that personally. I'm just going to assume that everything's going to be as normal. Now, if he doesn't show up at 6, in other words, if this doesn't do what normal bull and bear market cycles do, this doesn't break out and go up to here by the end of the year, well, let's just say that there's 2 things that could be different. Either it doesn't do this and we don't have one more push to the upside before the year's end, or it can't make a new high here. It comes up to retest and it falls below this whole upward trending channel. Then maybe the cycle's over. Maybe but it still would have to take us to the end of the year for that to happen, probably. I mean, this is the weekly chart, so we could have we got 6 days left of this one. We could get up to here, the next week up to here, the next week up to here. It could take a week. We could even come back down and hit this again, and then come back up and get squeezed into this wedge, into this apex one more time. So there's still several things that could happen if things are different, or it could just go parabolic. It could go way above this, hold the support and just keep climbing, and up into the 200K plus zone. And then I will say this time is different. This time is different. And we could get up to phase 5. But all that would still have to happen in the next 2.5 months, in my opinion. Now, if we go into January 1st and we're still pumping instead of going down, in that 5th candle on the 12-month chart, this is when I'll know it's different, guys. On the 12-month chart, this is the candle we're in right now, right here. That's the last candle of a bull market, generally speaking. Here's the bull market top back here in 2013. Count 4 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the bull market top in 2017. Count 4 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the bull market top in 2021. Count 4 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in that candle now, but we got 2 months and 5 days left. If 2 months and 5 days goes by, let's say we go up to a 130, 140 in this candle at the end of this year, and then the next candle opens, and then that candle just keeps going up higher than this candle, then I will say this time is different. That will be the first that's happened. And then we'll be planning for a $500,000 phase 5. 500,000, 550,000 Bitcoin for phase 5, somewhere up here. Why not? Everything's possible. But yeah, this is strong though on the weekly. The stochastic RSI cutting back above the orange line. It's touching it right now, but it's heading in that direction. So, and we do have a little bit of a ways to go. We got all of this space to go to get back up to the top here. Generally speaking, once we're down here and the blue line crosses the orange line to the upside and gets above this dotted line, it's usually a nice pump to the upside. Just zoom out and show you. Here's an example right here. Blue line across the orange line. Both get above this dotted line. And then boom, 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 boom. Blue line cross the orange line to the upside. Both get above the dotted line. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, even here, it did happen here. Right here, blue line did cross over and get above the orange line, and they were far apart too, but then this happened. This is when we dumped. See, it was starting to climb, climb, and then we had the tariff thing announcement that threw a wrench in this. Normally this doesn't happen once we get above, once the blue line crosses over and gets above this dotted line with the orange line, there's usually a big pump to the upside, as you can see here. As you can see here.
What's the significance between the blue and the orange line?
That's a good question. This is the stochastic RSI. So we're looking at there's two RSIs. There's there's a bunch of different RSIs, but if we just go to the regular RSI, which is the relative strength index, it's looking at the relative strength of the market. It's looking at buying pressure, the volume. It's looking at a bunch of different things. Now, the stochastic RSI shows you, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, the actual definition. I'll pull it up so you can see it yourself here. So instead of me trying to explain it to you, but basically what it's doing is it's taking, oops. Hold on 1 second. We have it in our we have it in the mastermind.
I just posted it in the Zoom chat, Nico. It's just a little different than the RSI.
Yeah, it's the I was going to call it the K&D percentage. Yeah. Representing the two main lines. The stochastic RSI is a technical analysis indicator that applies to the stochastic oscillator formula to the relative strength index. Values, instead of price data, it ranges from 0 to 1 or 0 to 100 on some platform. Let me just show that to you so you can see what I'm talking about here.
I posted a couple links if folks are genuinely interested.
Yeah, because I don't like to just give vague meanings for things, but so when we're looking at a chart, I'm sorry, where did you post it, Bill?
In the Zoom chat right there,
Oh,
I just posted a couple links. One takes you to the Discord where all the indicators that we use, where it lists all the ones that you use and the time frame you use them on.
Yeah.
And then I posted an Investopedia link that describes it. And then there's one I can post real quick that talks about the difference between the two. That's useful.
So we got the K line and the D line, basically the orange and the blue lines, and one of them is relative to its high and low range over a specific period of time. So if we're on the weekly time frame, we're looking at that on the weekly time frame, which is the most accurate one. So the blue line is the fast line, and because it reacts quickly to changes in the RSI, and the orange line is the slow line or the shorter line. So it's usually the blue, when the blue line is on top, we're bullish. Let me go back. Let me go back and look at this. When the blue line gets above the orange line, it's bullish, and when the orange line gets above the blue line, bearish, coming down. And that's usually how it works. So we flip. And so we're always looking for a cross on the RSI or the stochastic RSI. We're looking for an orange line crossing, a blue line crossing the orange line to the downside, or a blue line crossing the orange line to the upside. And generally speaking, and then you have a range. So you have the 20 to the 80, which is this grayed out area. Anything up above 80, between 80 and 100 is as high as it goes, is overbought. So whenever you see the stochastic RSI way up in this range here, technically speaking, we're due for a pullback. It's usually like when gold, just for instance, when gold hit $4,800 per ounce, this is when the masses come out of their houses and stand in line to buy gold at jewelry stores and whatever, or gold bar stores or coin stores, because that's when, and that's just human nature. Human nature is more people will do it when more people are doing it. Right? When more people start to do something, more people will do it. And that is and as traders, for us, that is the opposite time that you want to do it. The more people that are doing something, that's the time when you do the opposite. If you want to be a winner in this game, if you want to win. In other words, don't follow the masses. Don't be a sheeple. And, if thousands of people were running off the cliff, unfortunately, more people will run off the cliff, but you won't be one of them because you're smarter than that, and you're going to stand on the sidelines and wonder why. Warren Buffett has said it for decades. When there's blood in the streets, that's the time to get greedy. When everyone's greedy, that's the time to get fearful. So this is kind of showing you fear and greed up here as well. Fear at the bottom, greed at the top. We do have euphoric. We do have these stages. We have something called the euphoric stage. Chad has talked about it many times as well. And I'll just pull that up real quick so we can see it, because it's pretty powerful when you really understand this. It's human psychology at its finest, and most people fall for it. I don't know if you guys ever see those videos that are being shared around where someone will be sitting in a waiting room at an office, like a doctor's office, and everyone else is actors, but this person doesn't know it. And so every minute or every 30 seconds, a bell dings and everybody stands up in the room, except for the person who's not the actor, who's the one they're trying to trick. And that person notices everybody standing up when this bell dings, but they don't stand up because they don't know why everybody's standing up. But then 30 seconds later, the bell dings, everybody stands up again. This person's looking around, wondering what the hell is everybody standing up for. And then so she turns and asks somebody, why is everybody standing up? Oh, you're just supposed to stand up when the bell dings. So the next time the bell dings, everyone stands up and this girl stands up as well. And then the bell dings, 30 seconds later, everybody stands up. And then new people come into the room who are not actors. And then they sit down, and then the bell rings, everybody stands up. Everybody, and these people are looking around, why is everybody standing up? And then eventually they just start doing what everybody else is doing. They don't know why they're doing it. They just notice that everybody does it when the bell dings, so they all just stand up. And this is really how programming is how we're being indoctrinated and how we're being programmed. And most people don't even know it. And that's just the way human nature is. We don't want to feel left out. We don't want to be the odd one out. We don't want to be the one that's not, following suit. And for the most part, we'll do what everyone else is doing. So, yeah. So we have these different times in the market. And isn't it interesting that when Bitcoin is down here at 15,500, people are waiting. I don't want to buy now. I want to wait. I think it's going to go down to 10K. Screw that. I'm not buying at 15.5. It's going to go to 10. And so they don't buy. And then it goes up to 17, 18, 20, 25. Oh man, yeah, I'm definitely not buying now. I'm going to wait for a big pullback. It pulls back and they're like, oh, it's only 14. I think it's going to go to 10. So they don't buy here. And then it goes up to 40. And people are like, oh, it's too late now. I'm not going to buy now. Then it goes up to 60. And then we have a huge pullback. It goes all the way up to 100. A huge pullback all the way down to 70. People are like, ah, shit, man, this is it. The bull market's over. It's going to drop. It's going back down to 0. So they don't buy there either. Then it gets up here, it goes past the 100 to 105, 110, goes up to 120, 130, goes up to 150. And this is where people get euphoric. And they're like, holy shit, this thing really is going to the moon. I better jump in now. And they're finally buying up here at 120. And what happens as soon as they get in? Bam, falls all the way back down to 80. Pumps up again. Then it pumps up again. They start to buy more here, and then it drops down to 70, 60, 50. Oh man, this sucks, man. I should have bought back here when it was 15. Yeah, you should have. And you should have got out of here in euphoric stage. So when everyone's euphoric, guys, when everybody's standing in line to buy gold because gold is hitting an all-time high, that's not the time for you to go buy gold. That might be the time for you to sell. Or not sell, but just don't buy more. You know, that's not necessarily the time to buy more. You got profits because you bought at 3,000, you bought at 2,000. Now it's 4,800. That's fine. You're up. You're good. But if you buy more at 4,800 and then it goes down, you could run the risk of losing money, right? So, with that being said, guys, the stochastic RSI is basically just kind of showing you the sentiment. It's showing you the buying pressure. It's showing you the fast line. So it's kind of giving you indications of when to get in and when to get out. And a lot of people, even professional traders, don't really look at it that much. They don't understand it, or they don't really put much weight behind it. But on the weekly time frame, you can just go and look, guys. Just look at it. Every time the blue line has crossed the orange line to the upside, we have a huge parabolic move to the upside. Every time the blue line crosses the orange line to the upside, up in this dotted line, up in this shaded area, we have a huge pump to the upside. Almost, I would say almost, I'm every time. So it's like, is it an indicator indicating what's going to happen? Can it change? Can it cross to the upside and then cross back down? Yeah, that's what happened here. But that was an anomaly also. That was based on an announcement Trump made about tariffs, where it crossed and it was on its way up. And then it dumped down again right here because of that announcement. But now it's bouncing on support and finding support and then climbing back up.
Is that just the regular RSI, or is that the stochastic RSI?
That's the stochastic RSI. If we want to look at the regular RSI, that's important as well, because the regular RSI is showing us the bearish divergence really. Down here, you can see, let me just minimize this one. This down here is the regular RSI. And when we get above the dotted line here at the 70, down here, it's the 30 to the 70. When we get above it, you can see it gets green on the, it doesn't do that on Phemex, but it does it on TradingView. This is overbought, overhyped area up here. And that is kind of indication of a top in the market. And this is 2021. And this was the bull market top. Now we did come down and come back up and double top. But on the RSI, when we came back up for this double top, it was a lower high down here. So that was bearish divergence. Over here, similar, we come up, we hit it here, right here. We hit an all-time high at 73.5 or 73.8. We just barely got above the previous all-time high. Barely got above it. new all-time high. That was the top on the RSI. And then we made a higher high right here at 108. And that was where this one came up. And it was a lower high here on the RSI. And then we made a 109, which was even higher than the 108. But look how low that was here. It didn't even get above the moving average on the RSI. And that was a double top, and then dropped all the way down to 74K, which was the big dump down here to the floor. And then we pumped from there and come all the way up, and we hit 112, even higher again. And that was another lower high. And then we bounced off the RSI or off the moving average and pumped all the way up to 123. Right there. That was another lower high. High, lower high, lower high. High, higher high, higher high. And we had 124 and 126 after that. And look how low those are. So usually, guys, and I say usually loosely here because we don't have many examples to even pull from, but it's only happened a few other times in Bitcoin's history. And each time was indicating a top in the market, which was with bearish divergence. So we do have bearish divergence happening right now. The difference this time is between this time and 2021 is in 2020, we had a high, a higher high, and a higher high. And then we dropped into a bear market. High, higher high, higher high, up in the price. And then low, high, lower high, lower high. And then that was it. We never had a higher high after that. We had a lower high down here, but this was also a lower high on the price. But here, we have a high, a higher 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 high, higher high, higher high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 higher highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 was way down here. So we've had 7 higher highs on the price and all lower highs. So the only difference is this one just keeps making higher highs. So how long can that go on with bearish divergence? That's a good question. In Bitcoin's history, it's usually a sign of the top. But in the stock market, there's been bearish divergence going on for 10 years in some cases before there's a stock market crash. So it's just one of those things to notice that's happening, but it's hard to, because we could pump up here and go boom, boom, all the way up to 170. But what will happen down here is we might only go up to here. We might still have a lower high. The only difference this time is that if this does it over the next 2.5 months or 2 months and 5 days or so, I will think that might be the top, only because it will be the end of the fourth candle on the 12-month time frame, which has historically been the top. It historically been the final candle of the bull market on the 12-month time frame. So again, guys, I won't know if that changes this time until that happens. I can't say this time is different until it actually becomes different.
Nico,
Yes.
the CME channel, this is going to sound ridiculous. Is there a chance that never gets filled?
Yes.
Really?
Hold on one second. I don't know what this is.
60 to 80% of the time they get filled, but that leaves 20 to 40% of the time they don't get filled. There's one at 54,000 and there's one down at 20,000.
Well, that's encouraging.
Yes, definitely possible to not get filled. But when you're playing the odds of average or the laws of average, guys, when something happens just like this, if we go back and look at this, this chart, I just deleted it. I was going to pull it up and show you, but Let's pull this one up instead. When we go back and look at the bull markets, the previous bull market cycles, we hit the 2.36 in 2013 on the Fibonacci. We hit it in 2017, and we didn't hit it in 2021. So out of the three last bull markets, we hit it twice. That's a 66% chance that it will hit it again. Now, on the 1.6, we hit it here, we hit it here, and we hit it here in the last bull market. So now that we're in the fourth bull market cycle, there is 100% of the time in each previous bull market, we hit the 1.6, 100% of the time. So there's a high likelihood that we'll hit the 1.6 this time because we've hit it 100% of the time. But we did not hit the 2.36 100% of the time. We hit it 66% of the time. So in order for us to hit the 2.36, we got to at least hit the top of the 1.6. So I don't even worry about the 2.36 unless we hit the 1.6. But is it possible that we don't hit the 2.36? Yes. Is it possible that we don't hit the 1.6? Yeah. So far, we hit the 2.36 this time, we hit it this time, but we didn't hit it this time. So obviously, out of the three times, it's possible to not hit it. And now this is the fourth time. Is it possible to not hit the 1.6 this time? Well, here's the difference. Each one of these times we were in that phase. We've never went into a phase. This is phase 4. This is phase 5. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. We've never been in the middle of a phase and not hit the top of it previously. So this phase, we never even got into phase 5. We hit the top of phase 4, and then we double topped at phase 4, but we never went into phase 5. This time we are in phase 4. We are already 3/4 of the way up to the 1.6, but we're not quite there yet. If we hit it, it'll be 177,000 for Bitcoin, somewhere between 156 and 176. But so far we've never been in a phase that we didn't hit the top of it. So because of that, the odds are that it will hit it. But what are the odds of it hitting the 2.36? Well, it only did that 66% of the time throughout history. So that's still pretty good odds, but it's not. We'd have to get to the top of phase 4 first. And we also have something called the laws of diminishing return, where, as you can see, this is curving and we're having lower ROIs. In other words, the X factor, how much Bitcoin has climbed in each bull market is getting less and less over time. So it's possible that, it's possible that we could be at our top based on the laws of diminishing return. 1000x back here, 100x here, 20x here, 12x here, 7x here. It just could be just getting less and less and less over time. But
Nico,
yeah,
would you say it's arguable though that the 2021, didn't get hit at the 236 was just because the whole world economy was tanked?
yeah. There's, I always say that there's a reason for everything, and we just don't know what the reason was. But there was certainly some underlying circumstances. We had COVID, we had the world shut down, we had businesses going out of business, we had no one allowed out. We had an economic meltdown because of that. And we also had the FTX collapse, which was a majorly promoted centralized exchange, pumped up and promoted by politicians, actors, celebrities, sports stars, and that stole billions of dollars from people. And so there was a huge double whammy of circumstances that happened, which could be the reason why we didn't hit the 2.36 in 2021. For sure. And so this time may not be different, and it may still hit the 2.36 because it's just doing what it did 66% of the time. And the only reason it didn't do it last time was because of those circumstances. That's possible, but I would have to see it hit the 1.6 first before I would even say that I think we're going to the 2.6. But I will also say this, guys, with all that being said, is that every bull market, if we go back and look at all of those cycles that we were just looking at, every one of these last candles here These last months were huge pumps to the upside in November and December. November, December, November, December, November, December, big pumps to the upside. So we possibly could have our biggest moves coming up here, starting now, between now and December and the end of December, which we got, like I said, 2 months and 5 days to the upside, because that's what it historically has done. So you got to look at all of these factors. That's why we call this technical analysis, guys. We're looking at all of these different factors and we're weighing out how many checks have to be checked off for you to think something's going to happen. You know, if there's seven things that need to be checked off for this to happen and 5 of them are checked off, that's pretty damn good. The odds are in your favor. So we're bullish on the weekly stochastic RSI. We're bullish. We're in bearish divergence on the regular RSI, but we have been, and there could be some more higher highs to go. I will tell you this: if we look at this regular RSI down here, guys, and we see something, and here's a way you will know that we're going to have a super cycle or something strange happen. We go up here to 500,000. Is that down here, instead of continuing this lower high thing and lower lows, we actually break out of this. If we break out of this and we actually get above this level, which was the high here at the 70 on the RSI, and then we get above this one, oh yeah, that's a totally different, that's different. That would mean this bearish divergence is broken. It's no longer the case, and we could be going into a super cycle, and that could bring us all the way up here, the 500K range. But if this shoots up to, and here's how you'll know if that's not happening. The price breaks all-time high at 126. We get up to 140, 150. But this down here on the regular RSI is still down here. It has not made a higher high. And then we come into the end of the year. Then it's going to look like, okay, this might be it. We're fizzling out. Going into a bear market. Well, yeah, but we can't really make those decisions until that time comes. We have to look at where this is if this does this. It's looking strong that we could be getting ready to break a new high. But another weird thing this year, or this bull market, that we haven't seen in previous ones, is that usually when we do break a new all-time high, we have a parabolic move to the upside. Here we broke previous all-time high back here at 19K. That's where the resistance was, right here. Boom, 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 boom. As soon as we broke it, we pumped up to 141. And then we had this bull flag. And as soon as we broke that, we pumped up all the way to, 65K before we rounded this out. So huge pumps. But over here in this bull market, we break an all-time high. Right here, we break it, boom, and we did pump up pretty high here, right? We went from 73.8 all the way up to 108. But then we broke it again here at 109, and that was it. And then we fell all the way back down to 75. And then when we broke out of this, we pumped from 74.5 all the way up to 112. But that was only $3,000 more than here. And then we pull all the way back again. And then when we broke 112, we only pumped up to 123. And then we come all the way back down to 112. So we're making these new highs, but they're not big moves above. So we had 108, 109, 112, 123, 124, 126. I mean, it's just kind of incrementally etching its way up, which is a little strange, I must admit. But if we do break this next one here, which it looks like it's trying to do right here at 123, where are we going to go? Is it going to be a big push to the upside, or is it just going to be a little bounce up to 130? And then that's it. We fizzle out. We won't know that until we see it happen. But if we're hitting 130, if we break out of this up here and we're pushing up to 130, which I think will be the next touch point, and this is still way down here, the RSI is still dead down here and it's just kind of barely moving, then to me, and especially if it comes into the end of the year, 2 months and 5 days left, if we're coming into December 31st, and that's all that's happened, me personally, I'm going to be preparing for a bear market. I'm going to be preparing for that being it. But that doesn't mean, it still doesn't mean it's it. It just means I'm going to be preparing for that because all other indicators are showing me that. What would have to change then is going into January, all of a sudden this breaks out for some reason. Let's say December 31st, we're here, and this is here, 130, 137, and we're coming back down to retest this. We're coming back down, and all of a sudden this pops out. This shoots up January 1st. And that next candle on the 12-month time frame gets higher than the one that's always the top one. Oh yeah, then I'm going to be reversing positions long. Then we're going to have a super cycle.
Quick question for you, Nico.
What's that?
Quick question for you.
Yes.
If Bitcoin starts going into a bear market, is that symbolic, or would that indicate potential for our altcoins like to go parabolic for a bit?
I mean, generally speaking, you have a bull market top and an altcoin season, I think, before that we even have a bear market. But what it really looks like is this. Let's go to the 12-month time frame. Is that this is the end of the bull market right here. Bitcoin goes up to its high, like this was in 2017. Bitcoin went up. You can see the wick went all the way up to 19.7, and then it came down to 14.5. So just pretend for a minute that it did all of this and came down to this at December 31st. Boom, next candle opens. So let's just pretend it's December 31st of this year and this happens. Let's say we pump up to 140 and then come all the way back down to 126. Next candle opens. Technically speaking, this candle is red for the next year, going all the way down to here. But for the first month or two, it starts to climb. You can see that wick right there. Starts to climb. That could be altcoin season. It could be Bitcoin also going up a little bit, trying to get back up. But as you can see, it never got higher. Same with this one. It never got higher than this one. This one never got higher than this one. This one never got higher than this one. But it does try to go up a little bit. Altcoin season could be happening here. Bitcoin's hit its top. It's starting to fold around. Bitcoin hits its top, starts to fold. Altcoin starts to go higher, starts to fold. Microcaps start to go higher, start to fold. Meanwhile, when altcoins start to pump, Bitcoin is at its top, and it's not dropping drastically. It's not like a bear market, but it's not making any kind of highs. It's kind of just sitting right around here, and then starts to go down. And altcoins could be having their little heyday during that time. BTC dominance goes up. This is from Marlon. Thank you, Marlon. BTC dominance. Let me just read this to understand it. BTC goes down. BTC price. Dominance goes down. Price goes up. Alts go up. BTC dominance goes down. Price of Bitcoin goes down. Alts go sideways and up. BTC goes down, price goes lateral, alts go up. And that's kind of what I was saying here. It just kind of wanes. BTC it's already had its high. You just don't know it yet. And it starts to kind of wane a little bit and goes lateral, and then alts have their time. So it's usually Bitcoin, altcoins, microcaps. But by the time altcoins have hit their top, Bitcoin is starting to go down, and so on and so forth. But they kind of go in waves like this. Bitcoin, let's just say Bitcoin's top is 150, and it starts to wane a little bit, and then altcoins start to take off. And Bitcoin was at 150, but now it's down to 140. It's still not a bear market yet. It could have a long way to go in the bear market, but now altcoins might be popping off. I mean, that's just what's happened historically. Yeah, Chad just said a good point. That was in 2021. No such thing as an alt season in 2011 or 17. So, and there is no guarantee of an alt season. Someone asked that earlier as well, and we already answered that. No guarantee of altcoin season. Or even a bull market and bear market. To be honest with you guys, there's no guarantees, because just because something has been doing something historically doesn't mean that this time can't be different. Even, and Chad and I have talked about this even personally. This time could be different. I mean, we have a lot of catalysts happening that have never happened before, right? We have the governments around the world lining up, and now all of a sudden, the federal the Fed chairman is talking about how they're starting to hop on the blockchain bandwagon, and that they're trying to get strategically prepared to switch everything over to the blockchain technology. So this time could be different. We got billions and billions of dollars in hedge fund money and ETFs and all kinds of things getting ready to switch over. Possibly the actual dollar itself getting backed by digital currency and just going over to digital currency. This time could be different. And if all that happens, guys, and the banks start using XRP and XLM and all these things for transactions and to, you know, all the things that they've been talking about for the last year or two, we could be seeing some crazy pumps to the upside, and Bitcoin could hit the 500K range. All altcoins will go up with it. It'll be the tide that's rising all ships. Everything will go up. But there could be coins that go up drastically farther than Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin could be hitting 500K, XRP could be hitting $1,000. Like as far as our, not price wise, but ROI wise. So as far as percentage gain returns, you could still see a, you know, 100x on something like XRP, where you might only see a 5x on Bitcoin. 5x on Bitcoin right now at 100 grand is huge. But is it going to be the biggest gainer? No. I mean, there might be a shit coin that does better than that.
Nico, why do you think that Michael Saylor's always crapping on XRP and Ethereum all the time?
I don't really know. I don't really, well, I mean, he's got a lot invested in Bitcoin. He's got he's got a reason to keep everybody buying Bitcoin. I mean, if Bitcoin loses its dominance, and if XRP goes to $1,000 or $10,000, for instance, like some people are saying that it could, notwithstanding, doesn't have anything to do with market cap. It has to do with use case, and the amount of liquidity that would have to be in order to handle the transactions. Bitcoin could drop to 20 grand. It could be irrelevant. It could be one of those things where, you know, it just loses its purpose. But it just depends on what we're using Bitcoin for. Bitcoin is not going to be used for settlement. It's not going to be used because it takes 20 minutes. You're not going to be buying, you know, using your Bitcoin at the coffee shop, because you'd have to stand there for 20 minutes to wait for the transaction to go through. They're not going to let you walk out while it's pending, right? So if we're actually going to use a crypto as a currency in the future, and I don't think we are, to be honest with you, I think it's still going to be US dollar. Still going to be, at least in our lifetime probably, it's still going to be USD, but it could be USDC. It could be USD, whatever the digital US dollar is. It's going to have a name. And it might not be called XRP, but XRP could be Ripple Network, and XRP blockchain technology could be what's behind the scenes doing all the settlements, the one that's handling all the transactions. And that would require XRP's price or value to be $10,000. Let's just say hypothetically, it would need to be that high. By the way, when XRP does hit $1,000 or $10,000, you will not be able to buy XRP. It's not going to be available anymore. Probably. It's not going to be just being traded like Bitcoin is at 100,000 where you can just buy in it, because it's going to be probably blocked or taken off the networks, because it's going to need to be kept stable, and they might not be allowing anybody to buy into it anymore. It's kind of like, this is like the only time I know of in history where you could literally front run the institutions and get ahead of that before that happens. Now, what happens if they do that and they delist it? What happens if XRP gets to $10,000 and they delist it from Coinbase? Because they can't handle, there's too much demand now, and there's not enough left to sell you. And the price has to be a certain amount in order to hold that. But you have 10,000 of them sitting in your cold storage wallet. Then what? Chad says Nico is an XRP planted shill.
I'm just busting your balls.
No, I know. No, it's okay. It's
Hopefully you already borrowed against it, right?
Hopefully I'm right, and if I'm wrong, then what's the worst case scenario? That's what you got to look at as well. If XRP is not used for
sure.
these things, and XRP doesn't do anything that they're promoting it for, none of these things happen. Gary is not meeting with the president, which he already has. He's not working out payment structures with banks all around the world, which are already lined up and in place. I'm looking at this as if not if these things happen that have to happen, but that they're already kind of inevitable. They're already in the process of happening, which is technically what is happening. Now, will it be this year? Will it be by the end of this year? Probably not. But could it be if Bitcoin pumps to 130, 140, 150, 170? I can certainly see a 10, $7, $8, $9, $10 XRP or more, maybe 20, $25. But I don't think XRP, and here's the thing, I don't think XRP is going to be normal when it comes to normal market cycles, like just going up and down with Bitcoin or altcoin season. XRP's parabolic moves, or XRP having a huge price movement to the upside, it will eventually decouple from everything else, and it will have to shoot up really high in order to handle the liquidity pool that's necessary in order to cover those transactions, if it's going to be doing what they say. I am prepared either way. I mean, if it doesn't, I am up, because I've been buying XRP since it was 49 cents. Actually, I had someone, it was 15 cents, but I didn't start buying more until 49 cents. And so technically I'm up, and it's, hit 380, and now it's having its normal pullback. There is no reason in my mind for XRP to not hit $10, $15, $20, $50, even if it doesn't go to 1,000 or 10,000 ever, because of its, it's being released from all of its legal obligations. All the legal things that have been holding it back for the past 8 years are now dropped. And to me, it would have gone up with Bitcoin over the last 8 years if it wasn't for the SEC and all that stuff. So,
Hey, Nico, I had a question about if a lot of the Bitcoin whales are selling their spot to companies like BlackRock in exchange for ETF spot, and there's a new rule that's like an in-kind change where they can now they can borrow against it, whatever. How does that affect the price going down? Because you have those big whales, if they aren't selling, can the price really go down that much? And I mean, if how does that work?
what was the first part again? If who sells?
No, it's the Bitcoin whales. They call them the OG Bitcoin whales that have thousands of Bitcoin. They're selling their spot to companies like BlackRock.
Oh yeah.
And it's an in-kind exchange, so they can
that doesn't affect the price.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. How can Bitcoin actually go down if these big whales aren't selling their spot?
They're not selling it to retailers because they stand to make. They're moving it from one ETF to another, to one company to another. So
Right.
they're funding an ETF, like Grayscale might fund BlackRock or and send them $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Because
Right.
they're going to make money from the people, regular people, the retail people like us, who then deposit to BlackRock to buy Bitcoin ETFs. So they're going to make money on those people. That's their customer base. You and I, who are actually holding physical Bitcoin, I mean, you could have it, you could be part of the ETF as well yourself, but there's a middleman there and they make their money off managing that money for their clients. But Grayscale already bought the Bitcoin and already caused the price to go up back when it was $15, $16, $17,000. And they just held it because they knew they were in the process of putting together these ETFs. And then once they were together, they just transferred that Bitcoin over. So the Bitcoin was already baked into the price, the current value of Bitcoin. But if someone sold $1 billion worth of Bitcoin right now, and there's plenty of whales out there that are not part of the ETFs or the big hedge funds. There's the guys out there that have $10 billion worth of Bitcoin that they bought in 10 different wallets that went from, $5,000 to $1 billion over the last 10 years. If they sold all their Bitcoin right now, then yeah, you could see a huge price drop.
Okay, because I was wondering, yeah, those are probably ones that are probably going to hold on to it maybe forever. I'm thinking those ones that are kind of like they want to sell now because you've seen like a couple of them sell off. But
We've seen
I'm
it. Yeah, there's been a couple. There was a
yeah,
wallet that was stagnant for like 10 years and it was $1 billion. And they all of a sudden the wallet became a stop. I mean, they call it hibernating or they call it dormant, but it was not dormant anymore. There was movement. They were moving Bitcoin around from this wallet that was sitting dormant for 10 years. And it was $1 billion in this wallet worth of Bitcoin. And all of a sudden they started transferring it to like Gemini and some of these accounts, these exchanges. And those people did sell hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin, but they bought it at 1,000. So that tells you something though. Why are these wallets just coming alive now? And what do they know that you don't know? Are these original gangsters? Are these the original developers that held these wallets for 10 years and knows that now's the time to get out? We don't know what they know. We don't know who it is.
I got a question for you.
This is all one more thing. This is also the reason why Bitcoin is probably not going to be the government's choice of currency or any kind of use for any kind of exchange of any kind of financial services other than a hedge against it, because they don't really know if it's infallible. They don't even know who created it. Whereas XRP, there is a company behind it that has a proven track record. They can meet with these people and they can actually control part of that. They can understand how it all works. Whereas when you got a guy, a potential person, Satoshi Nakamoto, who no one knows who he is, he's this enigma who created Bitcoin, and no one really knows if there's a backdoor or if he created a way to just siphon out all the money. No one knows, right? And all of a sudden we're just going to trust that this thing is infallible forever. I personally am not even 100% sure of that. Michael Saylor might be. He's certainly betting a lot on it. Yeah. Anyway,
I know that's what I was wondering. Like in an emergency, this is like maybe conspiracy type stuff, but in an emergency situation, the government can take over a company like Strategy, right? And like the stablecoin companies, they can take over private and public companies, and then maybe that's one way they can get rid of the debt. I mean, they could create a situation and
yeah, I mean, the whole Bitcoin thing with these companies putting it on their ledger to, increase the value, that's all dependent on the good faith of the people. It's all dependent on more people around the world buying Bitcoin and increasing its value over time. More and more wallets coming online, people getting introduced to crypto. We're doing our part. We're teaching people. We're helping people understand. But it's going to take hundreds of thousands or millions more people to finally get on the blockchain, finally open up their accounts, finally buy some crypto. And as that slowly starts to happen, prices continue to go up because less and less of it's available. It's not going to be just from a few billionaires. It's got to be the masses. It's got to take mass adoption. So just look at like Facebook, for instance. When when Mark Zuckerberg was creating Facebook in his college campus, his college dorm, he was just doing it for the college, for the community, for the campus, for the alumni of his whatever his college group, right? Did you think then that he thought that entire countries and the entire planet would be on his platform? But even when Facebook got to, I think it was like 5 million users or 10 million users, they were offered like $1 billion. Someone tried to buy him out. I can't remember who it was, Google, or I can't remember who it was. Someone tried to buy him out, and Mark Zuckerberg turned it down. That was with 5 or 10 million subscribers. Now they have over 2 billion people on Facebook. Let me just tell you this. If 2 billion people on this planet own some Bitcoin, Bitcoin would be $30 million per Bitcoin. So is it still possible for that many people to eventually have Bitcoin? Yeah, it's actually more possible for that many people to have crypto wallets than it is for people to have bank accounts, because there's something called the unbanked. There's a whole vast number of people in this world that have no access to banking, but they certainly could benefit from crypto because they could have a wallet. They could have a Bitcoin wallet or a crypto wallet. And you might remember somewhere there was some atrocity happening somewhere. Maybe it was Ukraine. I can't remember when they were getting bombed. And somebody was raising funds for starving people that were getting homeless, and there was no way to access money because the banks were all blown up and non-existent. They had no way to get cash. And people were raising funds through Bitcoin and created a fund and literally got Bitcoin sent to this wallet. And there was people on the ground there that were able to buy food and feed all these people that they would have not otherwise been able to do. So crypto is something that will continue to get bigger and grow and grow and grow over time. And then the values will, but it does take the people believing in it to do it. It's kind of like the US dollar bill, guys. If you take a $20 bill anywhere and try to buy something with it, the only reason that the clerk at the store will accept it in exchange for what it is you're trying to buy is because they still have faith in it, because they believe in it, because it's still accepted. Why? It's widely accepted. But as soon as that day comes where people are like, oh, no, I'm not taking that dollar anymore, that's useless, then the streets will be littered with it. And no one will even bend down to pick it up because it'll be useless paper at this point. But until that day, we are just in good faith, believing in something. And that's what crypto is going to have to continue to do for a while. Bitcoin.
So I have a question. Just say you have whatever, a large amount of XRP, couple of million, and then you have a bunch of other people in the world that have the same thing, and you go to take out, just say you got 20 million in XRP and Bitcoin, or just say XRP, and you go and you're on one of these wallets, and you wanted to take out a large sum of money. Are they going to or you want to take out, basically, just say well, I want to take out more than half of my money. Are they going to let you do that all at once? Or are they going to let you do 10,000 at a time, 10,000 in 1 week, 10,000, you know what I'm saying? So by the time you look at it, it takes you like 30 years to get all your money out.
Well, first you got to ask yourself, who are we talking about letting you?
Wherever you have your actual crypto, whatever.
Well, I mean, if it's in a cold storage wallet, then you don't need anybody's permission. It's your money. It's your wallet. Now, you do have to use a centralized exchange, probably,
Correct,
to convert that to US dollars. But there are lots of places out there that will loan you against it. And you could actually borrow any amount. A percentage of your total amount, up to any amount. Like if you have $30 million with XRP, let's just say you have, I don't know, let's say you have 10,000 XRP and it goes to $10,000 each. Anybody want to do the math on that? 10,000 times 10,000, I think that's $1 billion, right?
Yep.
No, it's 100 million. So you got $100 million worth of XRP. Just hypothetical. Let's just say that's happened. You can go even places like that. What's his name? Jake Claver guy. He's not the only one. There's other banks and other institutions that are becoming custodials for this. But banks will become custodians and they will want your XRP. and they will want to pay you for it, and they will want to actually, you'll be able to borrow, you'll be able to put it into work for you. In other words, the network will need it. The network will need your XRP, and they'll be willing to pay you a dividend, and it could be high. So let's say it's not that high. Let's say it's 7 or 8% per year. You got $100 million. Let's just say you, and not only that, but you don't even have to transfer your XRP to them. You can leave it in your wallet and still put it into custodianship. You just have to, I don't know what you have to do that. You have to transfer it to something else that you create, some other thing. I can't remember exactly how it works, but let's just say that you're getting, I don't know, 5% per year on your money. So you get 5 million a year and you leave your XRP in there and you're getting a dividend, kind of like staking, 5 million a year for the rest of your life without having to sell any of your XRP.
That sounds good.
That's an option. The other option is that there's going to be a huge demand for XRP from people who can't buy it anymore. And you can probably buy anything you want with your XRP by just transferring it to someone. And I'm using XRP, but it could be Bitcoin, it could be anything. I'm just saying XRP because I believe that XRP might be the last huge opportunity where, when I say huge, I mean 100x, 1000x type situation. Only because of its use case, only because of what it's working on, only because of all the banks and financial institutions that are getting behind it right now in the technology. And this isn't just me saying this, guys. There are tons of videos out there of heads of state, heads of countries, heads of banks, heads of financial institutions, the Federal Reserve chairman talking about it.
Well, they were talking about XRP actually going up to 27,000 per coin.
I know. It sounds crazy. It almost sounds impossible because people look at the market cap. They say, well, that's not possible because there's billions of XRP, and, the market cap would have to be, 20 trillion, which is 10 times more than Bitcoin right now. Yeah. If we're just expecting the market cap to go up by people buying it and waiting for the price to go up. Oh, it's been $3 for 2 years. What makes you think it's going to go to 10,000 overnight? It wouldn't if we had to wait for people to buy it. The only reason it would shoot up to $100 or $1,000 overnight or relatively quickly is if the financial institutions put a lock on it because they need a certain amount of liquidity to handle all the transactions. In other words, if the Swift network was switching over to the Ripple network to use XRP to settle transactions, the financial transactions of the world, then XRP would have to be a certain price in order to handle the liquidity. The liquidity would have to be there in order to handle it. If it cost $1 million, or if there was $1 million, if there was only $1 million worth of transactions per day that had to be covered, XRP would have to be $1 million. But if there's trillions of dollars in transactions and quadrillions of dollars worth of transactions, I mean, it would only take one XRP, in other words, at $1 million to cover that. But because there's billions of them, trillions of dollars in transactions, XRP would need to be between $1,000 and possibly $10,000 to handle it all. And that's only at 15% of the entire transactions. So let's just say that there's other outfits out there besides XRP that are going to be handling some of these transactions. Swift network might come up with their own, but they're already, the Ethereum network is working on it. But the problem with Ethereum is they haven't worked out all the gas fees and all the problems. There's a lot of costs. There's a lot of problems with Ethereum. And XRP seems to be the only one that can do it at fractions of a penny and do it at lightning speed instantly. And they're the ones that are in the talks and in the works of doing it. So to me, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So, but what will the price be? I don't know. I mean, it seems almost impossible. It seems outrageous that any person who has 10,000 XRP or more, which, by the way, that seems like a lot, but that would be only like $25,000 to own 10,000 XRP right now. That you could literally be worth $100 million in a couple of years if XRP goes to $10,000. This would be the only time in your lifetime that this is possible for you to do that. I don't know of any other thing. I wouldn't say that, because certainly you could start a business and become worth $100 million, but will you is the question. And I mean, it's the only time in probably your lifetime that you'll be able to just buy something and it becomes that valuable in that short a period of time. If all of that happens, there is a possibility it doesn't, of course. Like Yeah, I know I've been talking about XRP a lot lately. That's because the more I delve into what's really going on around the world and where everything's headed with the Genius Act and Trump wanting to move everything over to blockchain and putting, going into digital currency, it seems like the only final option is to be able to settle everything in crypto transactions. And the only crypto out there that can actually handle it is probably XRP and the Ripple network. And it's not like it's not like, oh yeah, they should talk to the people at XRP because that sounds like a good idea. No, the people at XRP are already in contract with billions and billions of dollars worth of companies out there and investing billions of dollars. And someone said, yeah, but XRP just sold 125 million. Yeah. And guess what they do with that money? They're buying billion-dollar companies to help facilitate all of the things I'm talking about. They're not selling $100 million worth of XRP to the people and dumping the value on the people so they can buy yachts. They're literally using that money to buy companies strategically that will help them grow. So there's a big difference between that. And yeah, they still can do that. They can sell portions of their holdings to the open market to continue to buy and invest more into the XRP network. So yeah, listen, I have never been a XRP army, do or die person until I saw the use case, until I saw what it's actually being, what's in the works. And now I'm interested. Yes. Now I'm hedging against, hopefully that happens. Don't get me wrong. I buy Bitcoin every week too. And I'm trading Bitcoin. I'm accumulating Bitcoin because certainly possible for Bitcoin to hit $1 million or $5 million, according to Michael Saylor, 25 million, $30 million by the 2050. That's all just based on how many wallets own Bitcoin at that point, because there's a finite amount. Yeah.
Can we see XRP in the next week or two get back down below $2? Or are those days kind of over in your opinion?
I will never say that's over because we just saw XRP drop all the way down to $1.26.
I know I'd like that to happen because I want to set a limit.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly can happen, but I don't know how many more times that could happen. I mean, this was based supposedly on, I mean, you could say it's market manipulation. You could say it's Trump announcing tariffs. I mean, everything crashed, including the stock market. Everything went down that day. But the amount of money that came back in so quickly is very encouraging. We didn't drop down here and stay down here. We wicked down and pumped all the way back up. Billions went back in just as quick. Right?
So you see this, I think apex forming, is that what we call it?
Yeah, we're in one right now, as you can see here.
So if we wanted to buy to hold for the long time, we could probably just set a limit up below that apex, and maybe if it hits it at a cheaper price. I mean, I know we all want it to go up, but
well, I personally am not waiting for a dip to buy more. So I buy some here, I buy some here, I buy some here, I buy some here, because to me, on anything under $3 is freaking a steal compared to where it could possibly go. So I don't worry about these pennies. You're not going to be worrying about that. If XRP does go to $1,000, you're not going to be mad that you bought some at 280 and some at 250. You're not going to be worried about that, I don't think. Right? So me personally, I'm accumulating, but there comes a point where you can really stop accumulating, because if it does anything that they're saying it's going to do, would still make you super rich. But if XRP goes to $10,000, if XRP goes to $1,000, let's just be a little more realistic, right? Is that doable? Guys, Bitcoin was $3 once too. Bitcoin was $13. And it's now at $115,000. So what's the equivalent? XRP going to $1,000 to me is a no-brainer in the next 5 years or so. But let's just say it does.
I remember when Bitcoin was 25 cents. I just didn't know where to get it.
Yeah, so if you got let's just say 30,000 XRP and it goes to $1,000, that's $30 million. Will you be mad that you didn't have more of it? Maybe. You might still be, because you realize that you could have bought another 30,000. In other words, you could have made another 30 million with a simple 50 grand, 60 grand. And when you look at it that way, you're like, holy shit, another $50,000 worth would have made me another 30 million. Liga posted something about bank issued cryptocurrency, the CBDC. That there is talks about that, but Trump already shot that down and said he's not going to allow it to happen. So I don't know if he's going to let that happen or not, but he's going to say there will be no government control or CBDC where the government can shut off your money or the government's going to control it. So I don't know.
So I just want to ask you a simple question. Do you think is the perfect place to store your money? Because again, I have different wallets in different areas. So what's the perfect place to like really store your stuff?
Yeah. The problem with me, guys, is that I don't have a crystal ball and I'm not on the other side of price appreciation yet. If price appreciation comes and XRP goes to $1,000 and Bitcoin goes to $1 million, and I need to see that happen and then see what's going to happen to my Bitcoin and my XRP that's on Coinbase and what's going to happen to my Bitcoin and XRP that's on my private wallet. And then I'll be able to tell you which one was the best. But I have both. I'm not going to say one is better than the other. I mean, there's people out there that say, oh, you better get it off the exchanges because once XRP goes through price appreciation, Coinbase and all these platforms are going to delist it, and you're not going to be able to do anything with it. You're going to be stuck, or you're going to, or they're just going to steal it from you and offer you whatever the valuation was when you paid for it. Is that really going to happen? Do you think? Do you think they would steal it from you? And so there's a lot of fear out there about what could happen. So what you can do is don't keep all your eggs in one basket. I mean, I have some on Coinbase. I will need, like, you, if there is a huge price up to $1,000, I will sell some probably to make sure I can. I will convert some because at that point, who cares? Even if I sold $1 million worth, might still have millions more. But also you want to make sure you do get some of that out of there. Are we going to be living on XRP? No, we'll probably be living on US dollars. So we still want money. Trump and all of these people that are trying to put all this stuff in place make it sound like they're trying to strengthen the dollar by switching over off of the antiquated systems and getting the Federal Reserve and wiping all the debt clean and away by using crypto and using what do they call it? Like hedge crypto that is pegged to the US dollar, like Tether, like USDC.
So you're saying it'll just be digital. It just won't be
Stable coins. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it just won't be a tangible way.
No, they'd have to stable it. It would have to be stabilized. But what is the name of the coin?
Correct.
Could it be USDC? Could it be USDT? Could it be US something else? Or could it be XRPR, XRPL? Or what is RLUSD? RLUSD. That stands for Ripple USD. Could it be? Could it be that? Could be. Will the government want to moniker it its own name? Probably. But USD is part of the name. US dollar is part of the name. But I don't know, guys. That's a crystal ball stuff. I don't have all the answers. So what I do is I just try to accumulate as much as possible in case it all plays out that way, and have some on an exchange and some private exchange, some in decentralized exchange, some in cold storage wallet, some in centralized wallet. That's the only thing I know how to do, guys. I'm not smart enough to know anything else, really. I'm not. I know a lot of you put a lot of faith and a lot of weight on what I'm telling you, but I'm telling you to be careful. I don't even know if cold storage wallets are safe.
Yeah, because listen, I remember when the thing happened. What was it? AMC and what was it? The other one, GameStop. They didn't let nobody sell anything or buy in. They just shut it all down.
Yeah, if you were on Robinhood,
right?
I had a friend who made millions on. He had BlackRock, not BlackRock, BlackBerry stock. And BlackBerry went from like 2 cents to 20 cents overnight. And he had like a 900,000 or 1,000,000 shares. So he literally made $20 million that day if he would have sold, but he didn't. He didn't sell until it came all the way back down to $12. So he made a few $1,000,000, but he's not trading on, he wasn't trading on a exchange where he couldn't sell. He was on like Fidelity. Yeah, Victoria, Jake Claver. Listen, I don't know the guy. I don't know what he knows. I don't know who, if he's the shill, if he's connected, but he does speak to a lot of the players, a lot of people behind the scenes. He is kind of friends, done interviews with a lot of the big banks and people behind the scenes. He's not really invested in anything else other than XRP, and all of his financial services are based around XRP. And he thinks that if XRP does what he thinks it's going to do, that Bitcoin's going to go down over time to 20,000, maybe even less, 5,000. He says that Michael Saylor actually said that Bitcoin would only be worth $5,000 if it wasn't for all these other things that Bitcoin is good for. Okay, well, I mean, if all these other things that Bitcoin is potentially going to be used for, but I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen. I do know that multi-billion-dollar hedge funds and banking institutions would not be pouring billions and billions and billions into Bitcoin and XRP and Ethereum, which they are, all three of them. Multi-billion-dollar companies are being bought out by Ripple that are in the space of technology and financial services and things like that. They're being bought just like that, bought out for the fulfillment of this strategy with XRP. So you got to look at that and say, is it to the benefit of the company owner of XRP? No, it's for the benefit of XRP holders. Anybody holding XRP, it's to the benefit of the price value of XRP. So I don't know. I doubt very seriously that people are going to be sitting on millions of dollars with XRP and they're just going to deem it valueless, or, oh, sorry guys, we have our own ledger and we have our own ledger, and XRP is worth $30,000 each, but not yours, not your XRP that's on the private ledger. It's on the public ledger. We have a private ledger. No, they're going to have to merge the two at some point. And then someone else will say, yeah, but they're not going to let that many people get rich. It's not that many people, and it's not that rich compared to them. So I think a lot of people think, oh, they're not going to let me make 30 million. 30 million is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket compared to trillions of dollars a day in transactions. It's literally nothing. Billion-dollar corporations settle $30 million lawsuits every day like it's nothing. Like someone's suing them for 800 million and they settle for 30 to get rid of the person. Give them 30 so they go away like your peanuts. And you, 30 million, shit, that's life-changing.
I think those two coins, XRP and Bitcoin, are just going to be bigger than people just even imagine, because I think once everybody in the world is basically on some sort of wallet and they have to have something digital, a digital asset in a wallet, it just changes the game for the top players.
Yeah. Liga says only 21 million Bitcoin. There's 60 billion XRP, 30 billion owned by Ripple, right? So 50% available supply in the market. They just bought back 1 billion to try to create scarcity. This is why it trades like a commodity. Yes, for the time being, it does.
So there are like 10 publicly traded companies worth $1 trillion or more. Do you see that kind of happening in crypto maybe in the future down the line, or is it going to be like just a
If what happens,
small?
Marlon? Say that again. If what happens?
There's there's 10 publicly traded companies like worth $1 trillion or more market cap. Do you see like that kind of happening in crypto in the future, or do you see like just a
Yes.
smaller concentration?
Yeah, but not many. I mean, there's going to be the major players. You got probably XRP, XLM, Solana, HBAR, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, Link, Link Chain. There's a few that could be certainly sticking around because they actually do something. They actually have a utility purpose that is in demand and some AI related technology based. Then there's the gaming cryptos that are based that are pegged to games where people can make and earn the crypto. Those things have been shooting up. On the these are, I guess, what we would call the unicorn coins or shit coins, or they're not really shit coins, they're gaming tokens, and they're not even on major exchanges. And some of these can still 100x and 1000x as well.
It's the Penguins of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, Kip says MicroStrategy just bought another 43 million worth of Bitcoin 40 minutes ago. Well, let's look what's going on. And they're going to continue to do that. I mean, he's been buying regularly every month. And you know what he's doing, guys? You think we use leverage? Michael Saylor is leveraged to the freaking hilt. He's borrowing against the stocks to buy more Bitcoin, and then borrowing against the Bitcoin to buy more Bitcoin. He's so leveraged, it's not even funny.
How do people check the blockchain? I keep hearing saying that, this you could see this guy who's buying massive amounts of certain things, and then his wallet's empty the next day or something.
Yeah.
How do you check that out?
I have whale trackers in the useful tools section in the pins and trader resources. You can track them all yourself.
Yeah. There's places you can go to see.
Damn, I forgot. There was a place that I go to. I think I have it on my phone. I'll look for it right now.
Whale alert
where
is one.
You can actually look on people's see what everybody's holding.
Thank you very much.
Whale alert. $11,879 ETH, 50 million USD transferred to unknown wallet on Coinbase institution 19 minutes ago. This is the shit that's happening every day, guys. Crazy amounts of money moving around that no one even knows who it is. $108 million worth of ETH transferred to an unknown wallet.
Yeah, I get them kind of notifications all day, every day on CoinGlass to my phone.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, Bill put a link in the chat. You guys want to check it out?
Must be nice being a whale, huh?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get you guys to become. Become whales in your own right. But we do got a little pump on Bitcoin. This is XRP, by the way. We're in this nice little. But look where we're coming up to, guys, right now. This line right here is where we were holding support before XRP fell through the floor here on that big dump on the 10th of October. And we bounced down here on the bottom upward. I mean, it did wick all the way down here, but as you can see it, when it came back up, it bounced and held the support here. That was the first little apex that we broke to the top of. I can get rid of that now. And now we're coming up to retest this line right here, which was previous support. So there's no reason, in my opinion, that we don't get back above this line as we were above it before this happened. And we have a nice big W down here. All right. I'm on the daily, but let's go down to the 4 hour and see what it looks like. And I posted this morning here, guys. This is what it looked like. It was consolidating over here on the right arm, but it's already pumped up since then, right here. There's your W. Where is it going to?
So is it a good time to get in, or should we wait until I get past that first resistance line there?
Well, I'm in. I gave signals in the group. I mean, these are my open positions. I've been in. You go back here, you can see, I went long on XRP back here. You know, somewhere, can't remember where. It was on a live call too. Some of these are just updates. ETH, we were long on an XRP, but on the last live call. Let me go back down here, somewhere where we actually entered. I mean, I just posted this yesterday. You could see that. So this would have been a good, this is what we were saying that we think it's going to do. And this was yesterday before we consolidated here. But you see this downward trending shadow here? Let's go back. Let's just look. That would bring us right up to the top of this overall downward trending resistance line. That's where we would probably pop up to. So I would say that it's probably safe, but we're so close to this resistance line here that was support. It is possible that we do hit some resistance there first before breaking through, but I would say we're probably going to go up to the $3, $2.90 to $3 range. That's what I said in the last post here. Nice W formation going into Monday, expecting a further pop to the upside, at least to the 290 range. We'll discuss on tomorrow's call. XRP still looking at the big W on the 1 hour. We'll go over on today's call. Yeah. So basically, I mean, we bounced on this bottom wedge. This is after the big dump. So chances are we're going to come up to the top of this. You can do it. You can go along now, but I would just put a tight stop just in case, because it's certainly always possible to have a pullback. But where would it pull back to? If it pumps up, like right now, it is starting to climb. If it pumps up and hits this resistance, it could pull back just to this level, maybe the top of the W, where we already had resistance. We had some resistance here, and we had it here. Finally, just broke out. So probably if it does hit resistance up here, boom, it could come back and bounce here before breaking out. Does that make sense? I did it live, JD. Were you on the call yesterday or the day before? Let me just go back. It says I didn't post a signal.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. No, I wasn't.
Yeah, I know that you've given me hell before for not posting any of my signals, but I thought I did. Let me just go back and look here. Yeah, I mean, you can see my entry on here. And I think that was when it was breaking that cup and handle that I talked about here. Now I was already entered long here. That was on the 24th. That was after the big dump. I think I went long after it pulled up. No, I would have been taken out here because my stop loss is here, but it was probably when it broke back above that. So yeah, I think I was doing it live. And then here's my current open positions. Can you take trades from my current open positions, or do you want me to give an exact go long right now signal? Because if you look at my current open positions, I show the amount, the size, the entry, the margin, and the stop loss. But if you look at this entry now, 3 days later, and say, oh, well, I can't get in this entry because it's way past 240 now. It's way up at 250. So, but when I posted this, it was 241. So I guess, what was my last signal? Because I did give a signal on Koa, or yeah, Koa. I don't even know how I pronounce it, but That was right here. And I did it the old way, JD. But I was also live on the Zoom when I did it. Long. So I did do a signal on the live Zoom on the 22nd. Long from live Zoom, enter stop loss TP. Let's see what happened to that one. That one.
It's all good, man. I should have been on the call. I snooze, I lose.
No, I did say that I was going to. I was changing. I actually took a poll. It wasn't that long ago, like a couple weeks ago. I said, "How do you guys like it? You like me to show my open position, show you exactly the trades I'm in, and and give you the screenshots, or do it the other way?" Some people said both, but most people just said open positions is fine because it shows you the entry and everything. But it doesn't say when I got in, so you're right about that. So. Yeah, so what happened here on COAI is that we did double top here. It created this giant M. I'm going to get rid of these lines. So it created this big M after this big double top. So what does that mean? Are we going to dump? Is it going to dump? It does seem to be holding on support here. So I wouldn't bet on it pumping. But last time it did come down from this high, it bounced and went back up. It double topped. Nice giant M. So if this thing does break to the downside, it could certainly come back down to the level it was at down here at the 6 cent range. I mean, guys, this is at $5. That would be huge. If this breaks this support and you short it, and this thing comes all the way down to here, that's 100% drop to the downside, 93% or so, actually 100%, give or take. At 10x or 20x leverage. That could be big.
Nico, is there a way it could make a W though? Can that M turn into a W?
I mean, if it pumps all the way back up to here, yeah. That would be a nice W. But it's certainly a perfect M right now. If you turn your screen upside down, it's a W.
So if I'm in it as a short and it goes past your yellow's resistance line,
Support.
support line, then if I reverse my trade, I'm out on the money that is negative on that trade. But do I get in at that? What does it help me if I reverse that trade? Like, is there any positives to reversing the trade, or is it basically just closing it?
Well, when you reverse an open position, it closes the trade that you're currently in and reopens the other one in the opposite direction from the point that you closed the first one. So,
so it still stays at that the point I got in, the price point I got in?
No, whatever the current price is, it will close the first trade out and open the next trade. So if you're short right now, let's just say you went short here at $7.32 and now it's down to $5. So you're positive let's say you're positive $100 and you click reverse. It will close out that $100 that trade that you're positive $100 and put the $100 profit in your account and immediately enter a long position. And then you would, if it starts to go up, then you would start to go positive in that one.
So it's just basically clicking less buttons for us.
Well, yeah, not only that, but it will only enter you in the opposite direction, or it will only allow the reversal if you have enough funds. So in other words, let's say you're really negative. You went short or you went long here, but it dropped all the way down to here and you decide you want to get out. So you hit reverse. You reverse it down here. It's going to close the trade out with the loss. All that money you lost here, it'll take that out of your account, and it may not enter you long depending on how much you have left in your account. Because if you went short up here with $1,000 and you try to reverse it with $1,000 down here after losing 1,000 on the way down, you might not have the 1,000 left in your account to cover that reversal, and it won't enter the position. You'll know immediately if it allows it or not, but it may not allow it. You have to have enough money in your account to cover the new position. All that it's doing when you reverse a position is saving you from having to re-enter the new entry over here. It also closes out any stop losses or take profit targets because now you're going in a different direction. So none of those matter anymore.
So you'd have to manually put in your stop losses?
Again, it will immediately reverse the position that you're in and make you go long instead of short. But your stop losses and your take profit targets will disappear because how could they stay? You're not going in that direction anymore.
And it'll also reverse you with the exact same leverage and the exact same contracts you were in the original position. So you may not want to go that big. You may want to go smaller if you took a big loss. And so you'd want to close it, reevaluate, and then add it.
Yeah.
If not, it could just be worse that you just flipped it and then it went against you. And then now you're even more negative because you didn't really want to go that big this time. Or it might not be in your risk management anymore because you lost.
Yeah. If you're in profit and you want to reverse, I would just close the trade out, open a new position. I mean, you could do the reverse thing, but you just got to make sure that you want all the parameters to be the same as they were. Like he was just saying, you got to make sure that you want to stay with that amount of contracts, with that amount of leverage and everything. XRP is pumping up to hit that potential resistance. It's almost there. Let me just put this in the right spot. Looks like it's getting close. I don't know if it's hitting it yet. 268 it's at. I mean, it is if you put this at the bottom of these wicks here. It's coming right up to it. But yeah, guys, regardless of whether it's you're trading Bitcoin or Ethereum or any number of these, any hundreds of these coins that you see members trading in this group. Let's go into the Winswell. I mean, COAI, Michael made some money on that one. XRP, Ape Coin, Sheridan, Michael, Planker, Hype, Fart Coin, Cass, Hook, Tack, Pengu, Chili Guy, Chill Guy, Aster, ETH, doesn't matter which one. When you know how to do this, you can do it on any of them. But my goal here, guys, is not to, let's say, shill or pump up any one or the other. My goal is to make you guys as much money as possible. And I just think that probably the biggest play could be XRP. But it doesn't mean it is. It doesn't mean, that doesn't mean stop trading and stop accumulating, stop doing anything else. But I do both, man. I don't even just do crypto, guys. I buy real estate too. So, you know, it's not a matter of one way or the other. The goal is to get richer, right? To get wealthier. And so I like a lot of different things. I also care about my health. Health is wealth, right? I don't want to just make a lot of money and be, you know, diseased and have problems and not be able to live to enjoy it. So I try to focus on a bunch of different things and put everything in different baskets. And look at it this way, is that if XRP does this, then that solves a lot of problems. If Bitcoin does this, fine. I got a lot of that too. If real estate goes to, if real estate is in a good buying, you know, a good time to buy over the next year because the values are down, good. I'm buying more. If real estate has a huge pump to the upside over the next 5 years, great. I'll make a lot of money on that. I'm like covering I got a lot of silver too. I got some gold, but I don't really store a bunch of gold because to me, it's a hedge against inflation. It's not a get rich thing. In my lifetime, silver has always been under $50 my entire life. Can't even remember when it was worth more than that. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but gold has gone up over the last few years, but is it really? Or is it just the value of the dollar going down drastically that makes gold so valuable? Just like everything else. It just takes more money to buy the same amount. But in order for you to retire from gold, in order for you to get rich from gold, you need to already be rich to buy enough gold for that to happen because gold doesn't go up fast enough. Gold is a hedge against inflation. So the only reason gold shoots to the moon is when the dollar dumps in value. And what good is having something that goes up 100 times in value if the dollar that it's based against goes down 100 times in purchasing power? You got the same problem. Okay, you got $1 million now, great, but now $1 million is only worth $10,000. So what's the point? So what money is just a tool, guys. So you want to take the hard-earned dollars, the money that you've earned with your job and your business, or any other investments that you've grown, and to do the right thing with it would mean that you would take that money and buy appreciating assets, things that at least hold their value or go up in value. Now you might say, but when does the spending start? When can I just buy stuff and enjoy my life? You can do that anytime you want. It's just the difference between the people who end up getting wealthy are the ones who invest first. They pay themselves after. They spend after they invest. They don't spend first. Poor people will take their paycheck and go and buy the brand new tennis shoes or the brand new something, bicycle, or this new stereo system or whatever. And then whatever's left, and they still don't even invest whatever's left. They pay their bills with what's left, and then they're broke. And then they have to work another week, trade their time for money again so they can do it all over. Wealthier people, or people with a wealthy mindset, will work and they'll get their paycheck, and they will, you pay your bills. Of course, you got to pay your bills. You got to keep the lights on, right? And then they will either invest the rest, or they'll set up a certain percentage. 20% of my income is going to this investment every week, no matter what. And then whatever's left after that, you spend on yourself. Movies, date night, frivolous, whatever. So if you prioritize the investment part before all the other part, that is like paying yourself first. See, a lot of people don't look at it because it's delayed gratification, but it is taking care of yourself first. You just don't know it yet. It is something that will pay you back in tenfold with dividends later. You are getting richer. You just don't see it because you have less cash in your hand. So you feel broker. You're just cash poor, but you're asset richer. Don't worry about being cash poor, because the sooner you can put your cash into something that holds its value, goes up in value, the sooner you stop the bleeding on the cash. You cash sitting around, the purchasing power is going down every day. Means you could buy less and less and less every month that goes by, because the value of it's eroding. The sooner you take that cash and put in something that holds its value or goes up in value, you're now floating above. You're not sinking anymore. You're going up in value over time. So that's how you got to look at cash. Look at cash as the tool that as soon as you get it, where are you going to put it to make it go up in value? Where are you going to deploy it? A lot of people they look to get that cash so they can go party, so they can have a stack of cash in their wallet, so they can flash it, so they can buy things. And immediately then, once you've done that, you did trade that money for something, but you usually trade it for a depreciating asset that goes down in value and that you won't even care about in a month or two. Or it'll be used up or not worth anything anymore, and you don't have the cash anymore either. And now you got to go earn it again. You got to trade your time for money again. And that's a never-ending repeating cycle until people die. So the rich people, the smart people, or the people that are getting rich, the smarter people, I should say, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way, because we all have to be dumb money first before we become smart money. We all have to learn this lesson sooner or later, is that you would take the money that you do work hard for and you treat it better. You don't spend it frivolously because you care about yourself. You're not going to poison yourself by doing something stupid with it. So you take it and you put it invested into something else that is going to go up in time. So if you think, oh, I can't afford to buy $100 a week or $500 a week worth of XRP or Bitcoin, how can you afford not to? What else are you doing with the money? You spend it on dumb shit? And so the way I look at it is, if you put it in something like that and just pretend it's not there, just keep working hard for the money, keep doing whatever you do to make money right now, and keep taking the extra cash you have and putting it into things that continue to go up in value over time, you will thank yourself later. You will get to a point in the future where you have way more money than you need to live off of. And that is when you can consider yourself rich or wealthy. Or your money is spitting out, your money is having children. Look at your money as little humans that you're deploying to work. And your children are going to go have children, and then those children are going to have grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and so on and so forth. You have a whole army out there bringing you money, a whole army working for you, so that you don't have to do it anymore for yourself. You don't have to go out and earn it anymore. So anyway, with all that being said, We are at the top of the hour. We do have an onboarding call starting right now with Bill. The link is in the chat. It's also in the main section. That's right, Carmel. Little soldiers, put them to work. Liga says Fed interest rate cut on Wednesday will help real estate. I hope. Yep, it should. And guys, if they cut enough, if they did a 200 basis point, it would take like 200 basis points to see crypto like really shoot to the roof, to see all these things and all these, the market totally turn around. But it ain't going to be that much. There's slight little cuts here and there. They don't want to freak out the market too much, probably. But in the meantime, hedge your bets. Use, get a Web3 based, which mostly all of them are, crypto, cold storage wallet. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I do use Coinbase. I think it is safe, but there are stories out there where people getting hacked or losing their, it's happened before, but not necessarily on Coinbase, but it's happened on other platforms. And so you just want to protect yourself. I try to have an equal amount. Some people say move it all to a cold storage wallet, but is that really the right thing to do? How do these people know? Have they lived through that price appreciation before on something like this? No, they're all just talking about a strategy. And so use your better judgment, but in the meantime, try to make more money, try to accumulate more, and put it into things that continue to go up in value, whether it's real estate, gold, silver, crypto. I prefer crypto and real estate. Those are just my two things. Because I can make a lot of money on real estate because I'm buying depreciating assets I'm buying distressed assets from distressed people. These people are in a bad situation and the property's in bad shape. So I know that what it's worth if I can do my magic and I can put money into it and improve it and fix it all up and increase the rents, then I will make it worth this much. So I'm forcing appreciation. I'm not buying something already worth the top of the market. I'm buying something that is worth, let's say, $1 million, and I'm buying it for 200,000 or 300,000. And then I'm going to make it better by putting 100,000, 200,000 into it. Now I got 400 into it, but now it's worth $1 million. So I'm forcing appreciation. So that's a way to make 100% gain, but that's a lot of work. And not everybody's up for that. Not everybody wants to do that. So if you're not into real estate, don't do real estate. Do what you're into. It's just one of those things that is still allowed. It's still one of those things that any person can do. And I will say this, one last thing before I go, guys, is that I've never seen more dumb people get rich than in real estate. And I say that with all due respect. What I mean by that is real estate's one of those things that anybody can get rich at. You don't have to be a genius. You just have to buy it right and hold it. And what I meant by that is you don't have to be, I'm just saying you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to have any special skills. So anybody can do that. And anybody can just buy certain cryptos and sit on it too. So these are the two things that I know of in the world that you don't have to have a specialized skill to you don't have to be a plastic surgeon or something like that, a doctor, to become rich at. You don't have to be surgical about it. You just have to buy it and timing has to be right. And people can get rich with right timing. And the timing is right now. That's what I'm saying. Patrick, what is a good cold storage wallet? I use Descent right now. I've used Trezor before. I like Descent. I have a link in the official links channel in our Discord for it if you want. Liga says, yes, I flipped 4 properties for 100 to 200% appreciation. It's the best, but takes work for sure. It takes a lot of work. I like it though. I like making things better than I found them. So I don't have a problem with it. I'm dealing with apartment buildings now. So I used to do houses. Now I'm doing multifamily. But again, you also have to do something that you feel good about. I feel good about real estate because I'm providing housing for people. And I think that's important. People need housing, right? So I feel good about it. Is it the easiest thing? No, it would be much easier to buy Bitcoin and hope that Bitcoin goes to $10 million. I don't have any employees, any tenants, any toilets, anything if it does that. But I don't know that it's going to do that. So I'm hedging my bet with everything that I know that goes up in value, which is real estate is one of them. And so, I want that for all of you. I want you all to get rich no matter what it takes. And we talk about all these different ways, but some of these ways may not be for you, but I know some of them are. Francisco says, Nico, do you have experience with Section 8? Yes, we have some Section 8, some HUD housing. We had even homeless coalition, but I got rid of the homeless coalition. I'm not doing homeless coalition anymore. The difference is homeless coalition is they will pay the rent for people no matter those people's circumstances. And so what you really have is homeless people living in your dwelling that someone else is paying the rent for. And homeless people don't take care of anything. They still live like homeless people. They just live like homeless people at your apartment building. So I don't like the homeless coalition. I appreciate what they're trying to do to help people, but they're not really helping people because they're not making these people jump through any hoops to do anything. They're not supervising them. They're not making them live up to a certain standard. They're not making them clean the place. They're not making them keep the place nice or anything. So we're buying these places. Sometimes they already have homeless coalition people in them, and we end up replacing those people for Section 8. Because Section 8 at least has inspections and we can still do our background checks on these people. They still have to be qualified and meet our criteria. But yeah, I like Section 8. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't keep too much of it in one building. All right, guys, get on the onboarding if you're new. That link is in the chat. It's also in the Discord. And also, I'm going to keep an eye on this. And I promise you, if I make any changes or signals, I will put not only the screenshot but also the actual entry and exit. I know I've said that before, but I'm going to make sure that I do it this time. Let me just do one more quick look here, guys. Let's just share this. This is XRP. It is pumping up to this 68 cents range right here. And we're waiting for that breakthrough. I do think it is going to. I think it will get to the top of this downward trending resistance line. And if it doesn't, guys, it probably will just retest down here and to come back up again. But it is still winding into the apex one way or another. But I think I think we're due for a pump to the upside more than a pump to the downside right now.
So we could put like a limit order above that one resistance line, and then when it breaks through, it'll snag us or something.
Well, you could go long now and just put a stop loss under maybe this pullback right here, which is probably right at the 259 cent range. And that way, if it breaks through, you're ahead of the game, and then you just move your stop loss above this. You want it to hold the support above this line. So once it holds that as support and starts to climb, then you can move your stop loss that you put right here. Move that. If you enter right now, move your stop loss here. Once this pops above that red line, then you can move this stop loss up to here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And Bitcoin is it's holding nice too, guys. Bitcoin is pumping too. It's pumping too. It's getting up there. Nice W on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin probably going to get back up, hopefully, to the top of this and retest this 123 range. That's why I'm long on both XRP and Bitcoin. These are my entries right here. I did post them the other yesterday and the day before, and I am up right now $1,287 on these three. I think I was up 480 when I shared the screenshot, up 1,000 when we started this call. Now up 1285. So it is climbing. But I will.
I'm new to this, so I'm just curious. But when that one big drop happened, last whatever it was, where it dropped to way down there, it kind of like synchronized everything because almost all of the crypto coins look exactly the same. I mean, they're almost identical, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it does. Bitcoin is the tide that rises all boats, so to speak. So a lot of things correlate with Bitcoin. There's a lot of bots, a lot of computer buying and selling happening whenever there's a big dump as well. But I'll post any updates I see, guys, in the chat. I got to run right now. I got another call waiting for me. And I will let you know if I see any changes. But right now, I think they're both climbing. Both of them are going to go up to the top of that channel. And I will let you know if I see anything change. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Get on the onboard.